G'day and welcome to another episode of Just Retired. Well, we've got something a little bit different in this episode. I think in the first episode of Just Retired, I mentioned that, I mentioned that I've been driving a truck for many years and that I'd just recently given up the truck and gone to part-time work. What I didn't mention in that episode, or I don't think I've mentioned it in any episode since, is the job that I did before I was driving a truck. And that job was radio. I worked as an announcer, as a DJ at 3YB, our local commercial station here in Warrnambool. And I worked on air full-time. It was my job, it was my career. Did that for 11 years. But in the mid-70s, 3YB became an automated station, and this meant that many of the shifts on air were pre-recorded. And this was the problem because there's nothing like being live on the air. There's a real buzz, there's adrenaline flowing. And the thing is, if something goes wrong when you're working live on the air, you've got to fix it on the spot. You can't just stop a tape and say, well, I'll just record that again and she'll be right, because you're working live, you've got to think of something quickly, and that's what makes the adrenaline flow. And when that's not there, it just didn't feel the same to me. So that's the reason why I left radio and started driving a truck. But I was lucky that, I had a passion, I still got it, a passion for radio. I also had a passion for driving. I probably did as much driving before I had a driving job as I did when I started driving for a living. So anyway, after driving the truck, well, I actually drove the truck for 37 years before I recently handed over the keys, reluctantly. But 23 years after leaving radio, I got involved with our local community radio station, 3Way FM. And I've been doing a shift on 3Way every Friday night from 10 until midnight for the last 13 years. And 2 years after I started my own program, Ev came on the program and joined me. So that's another thing that we do together. We do our radio show every Friday night. The only thing, we're finishing up the Friday night time slot, and we'll be moving to a Monday morning time slot from 7 till 8:30. Probably by the time this episode goes on YouTube, that would have happened. But what I want to do in today's episode of Just Retired, is take you into the studio with us during our second last shift on the program, which we call Take It Easy. Right, we've just arrived at the 3Way FM studio. We're nice and early so as we can show you the studio before we actually start on air. Just follow me into Studio 2. And Phoenix is in here. G'day, Phoenix.
How are you, Mr. Hall?
Not bad. We're doing a special video for Just Retired, so I just wanted to come in quickly, not disturb you for too long, just show everybody Studio 2.
I'm very fussy how things work in my studio.
I know. You don't mind me standing in here, do you?
No, it's not too close.
Not too close. Anyway, yes, we're doing a video for my Just Retired YouTube channel. So you work in Studio 2, you play mainly CDs and some music from your own laptop too, is that right?
That is correct. There is a computer system already installed here that I have all my tunes on my laptop, so it's just easier. I know where everything is there.
Yep.
More organised that way, Graham.
All right, yeah, well, we use our own CDs as well. That's the way we like to do it. And you've been doing the show for how long?
I thought you'd bring in those Bakelite discs.
78s?
Yeah.
No, look, believe it or not, I don't own any 78s.
I don't believe that at all.
Maybe if I owned some, I probably would bring them in because I'm a bit old school. I don't know whether you've noticed that.
Emphasis on the old.
How long have you been doing your show?
I started this as a duo back in spring of 1997.
1997, so yep, you've been at it for quite a while.
I have been here for a while.
All right, so it's the Retro Rock Show. Phoenix does that show for 2 hours before we do our Take It Easy program. So thanks, Phoenix. We'll let you keep going.
Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your night.
We will, and we'll move into our studio.
See you, Reeve.
Well, that is the great sound of the Electric Light Orchestra, and that's Evil Woman. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the show. Graham and Ev here with Take It Easy tonight through until just after midnight. Good evening, Ev, to you.
Good evening, Graham. And yes, it's getting a little bit sad, isn't it? Our second last
Yes,
program before
that's right.
Before we change to the Bricky shift.
That's right, a special program tonight, our second last. But at least we are doing another show at a different time, so it's not like leaving three-way completely. Okay, Ev, time to go.
It is, Graham. And
So no time for any capital cities, I'm sorry, tonight. We've sort of more or less run out of time.
well, I'll say good night and we'll see everyone next week.
Yes, next week for our final show of Take It Easy between 10 and midnight. In the meantime, have a great weekend. We'll see you later. All right, well, we finished our show, our 10 till midnight show, second last show. And a bit of a funny feeling after doing it for 13 years or so. Next week when we finish, it'll be the last show altogether.